Long day today.
Yeah.
2 rounds, 36 holes. What are your overall thoughts?
I mean, obviously, we still got some things to clean up headed into the MAC championship. Despite what the scores are showing, it's a couple shots and nine, and discuss with our assistants, kind of where we're seeing all those opportunities come up, and there's some low hanging fruit there, and stuff that hey, if we get to 60% on this stuff, we find it really fast. And the good thing is it's not stuff that takes weeks to iron out. It's stuff that can happen overnight. And but it comes through hard work and just sticking to the process and digging it out of the dirt, really.
What kind of lessons do you think through today and moving past today
Hmm.
that can grab the attention of your team to help them moving forward?
Well, I mean, a golf course like this, there's a lot of wedge shots in play, and that was our weak area, and that's something that we've been working on. But we know we still have a lot of room for improvement. Fortunately, that's something that it's in close proximity, and you can get a lot of work done without beating yourself up physically too bad. And so that's the bright side to all of this. And wedge games can come around quickly. And we did have some good wedge play going on when we were down south, and now we're getting acclimated to being back up north, getting ready for the MAC tournament. And we saw some issues there today, but we feel like we can still clean that up pretty quick.
And you mentioned the MAC tournament. What are some things that you would address and the confidence to address those heading into the MAC tournament out in Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we saw today and last week a little bit as well, even though last week was better, is still just, from 130 yards and in. And that starts at the green, moving back to that point. I think we're driving it pretty well. We're driving it well enough to be very competitive. And that would be something where if we weren't driving it well, I'd be a lot more concerned about, how can we really do out there. But we're putting ourselves in play, in position, and we have to start capitalizing. And that's both on the green and with the wedges in our hands. So we'll work really hard on that here for we have about 10 days until we leave. We have to fit finals in on top of that. But the guys, as they move along these next 5 to 7 days, their schedules are going to start to open up and be able to get a lot of work done out there.
Up to today.
Well, it's really coming into form here these last couple weeks. He had his best finish of his college career last week at Kentucky. Today, a decent round in the first round, and then a pretty strong one in the afternoon. Even though it was a couple over, there were only 3 guys under par for this entire event. So birdied 8 both times. So I think he likes that hole a little bit, but it's nice to come off of back-to-back events for him headed in the MAC championship. His confidence is growing. We can see that every day. And him, Angelo, and Pedro have been very reliable for us. And now, we keep chipping away at these wedges. They still have shots to gain, all 3 of those guys too. And then in the depth of our lineup, we can find even more there. So looking forward to seeing what Andy does and the rest of the group here at the MAC championship.
Andy, tell me what kind of test you played 36 holes today. What kind of test was this today?
I think the conditions, being how cold it was, making sure your distances were correct, and I really struggled with wedges and distance control. Greens were aerated, made it a little bit tougher to putt. But yeah, I just say like distance control with the cold, definitely an adjustment. So
How'd you navigate the aerated greens as you went through the day? Did you compensate for anything? Did you not read as much break, or did you kind of think it was a little more straightforward?
yeah, actually, other than my first 9 holes, I actually putted great today, and read a little bit less break, maybe hit a little slightly harder on the short ones. But yeah, just making sure my speed was good. That was the key.
How was your mental game through day that started at 9:30 to now at about 7 o'clock?
I thought my mental was pretty good. Had a couple hiccups, couple double bogeys on 18 and 4, but it is what it is. And I thought I kept my head straight and kept on pushing it. But
And as a low finisher on the team, how are you going to use some of this momentum headed into the MAC tournament?
yeah, I drove it great and putted it great. So those are two things I really was happy about. Have a couple things I want to clean up before heading into it. Confidence has been good coming off of my off of last week and then this week as well. So just happy with how things are trending and yeah, just excited for next week.